Can everybody hear me? Are the chimes bothering you? Shucks, I wish they were bothering you. They're gonna go on. Nice to see everybody anew. Deborah. First off, does anyone have any question they'd like to ask? What sign am I? It's my favorite color. Do I like ham or prosciutto?
It's like a never-ending question, Paul.
Yeah. What's the never-ending question?
That's what it feels like, a never-ending question.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Everyone's well? Stuart, you okay?
Yeah, pretty good. Yep.
Good.
Yep.
Good. You see the futility of looking for what you already are?
Yes, definitely. Yeah. Yeah. It causes me a lot of grief sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah. Once you get a flavor of that idea, the negation, it's sort of like a ski slope. Yes, you gain momentum.
Yeah. Yes.
It's just a way of understanding when relying on the self-centered system. It sees everything as a doer and the doing. Yeah, it sees there has to be a cause for an effect to occur. Yes, but then the Course in Miracles would always talk about causeless effects. So what the hell are those? So effects that aren't caused by anything, they're just made up. So the head makes shit up. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then there's a story, the only way we can translate that is someone did it or someone was done to by it. Yeah. And so what's that? That's duality, yes?
Always duality, yeah.
There's the action and the thing that was acted upon or the thing that acted, yes? Action, actor. Non-duality, not two. Yeah, so maybe, all right, so there's an actor. Is there an actor with no action? Obviously not. How about action? Is there action with no actor? Yes, there you go. Yeah.
Yep.
So now you see an action, but you don't think it's yours or that you're doing it. And then the meaning that it used to have that caused a lot of continuation and getting into it is stopped right at the track. Yeah, because you're not interested, you're not keen on it that much. You're not interested. Because it's the same old. Yeah. The only thing that gives you a sense of newness was you, in a way. Now you're not new.
Yeah.
So the same old gets tracked, gets put out and you're not biting on it. So yeah. What happens? Find out, really.
Yeah. I feel at the moment though, for me, it's like I'm still a little bit after the fact, in a sense. I'll something will happen and that I'll create it in a sense. But then I know there's not me it's creating, but I'm feeling the effects of that somewhat to keep that story going.
Well, again, you're not feeling the effects.
True. Yeah.
There's feeling the effects, and then the story latches onto that, and of course, it's you feeling the effect. And suddenly, there's a lot of opinions about you feeling effects.
A lot of opinions. Yeah.
It triggers like the mental minutia, and it's like the ticker tape just keeps coming out, into this. Yeah. But the point is it needs traction. It needs to take off. It's like a famous story my Tai Chi master used to tell me. It was about this emperor in China somewhere, and he wanted to see who was the greatest martial art master in his realm. So he had this giant tournament, and all these people came from everywhere to show their abilities, like giant super heavy rings, and they're floating around, jumping, doing tons of shit. Then this old dude came out and he had a sparrow in his yeah, a bird. He just stood there for about 2 minutes, bowed and left. Yeah, all right. So then everyone's really excited. Who is the master? The guy who jumped over 30 feet or whatever, kicked like 8 plywood walls down, and then the emperor picked the freaking old dude with the sparrow, with the bird, and everyone's going, "What? What the hell? What was his ability? He didn't do shit." And the guy says, "Oh, bring out the old dude. Let him explain what happened." So the old dude comes out and he says, "The sparrow wanted to constantly take off, but he kept yielding his hand, so the sparrow couldn't push off, so it couldn't take flight." Yeah. So these realms, these reams and reams of thoughts need some, like, to dive in the pool, you need that diving board. You need a leap. You need something that tracks, and that's our role. Yeah. We believe the stuff, and then it extends more stuff. Yeah. The more believed, the more is downloaded. And then the story is almost like written right when you're going. Yeah. Yeah. And what would happen if you'd stop? You'd see the story, not from the story. You'd see it. You'd see it, and maybe it would hit you that it's not you. Or maybe because you had an understanding of non duality, you would translate it as not you. Somehow you would see it as other, and you'd lose interest. Yeah. And what would happen? You'd gain interest in your surroundings right then and there. You wouldn't have to be mindful. You would be mindful. You wouldn't be practicing an effect based on a change of condition. How are you going to change the same condition by practicing these effects? No, they're expressions of a changed condition. Yeah. So now you're noticing things around you because you've lost interest in that which dwells in what's not happening. Yeah. Hallelujah. Come to satsang, this will get reinforced. Yeah. Here, wear my glasses. Check it out. Yeah. Can you see that the verb, there is only verbing, but let's say in the dualistic race, which comes first, the seeing or the seer, the hearing or the hearer, the feeling or the feeler. Yeah. So at least you get some kind of proportion, and you notice that, oh, the see may come first, but what's thought about is the seer a whole lot more. Yeah. So the seer on one level is the predominant triangulation in the mental realms. The fact is seeing is happening. Yeah. There's consciousness in contact, let's say. Where does it say there's a you that's conscious? No, that comes after. Yeah. The consciousness is before, and then there's the idea that it's you that's conscious, and then your picture as a body comes after. What would that, if you lived a life of you thinking you were before your whole life, and you wore a pair of glasses and you saw that you were after, don't you feel like it would have an impact on the story of Paul, completely based on being before everything, is now seen to be after? I think it would shake up the apple cart pretty well. Yeah. So right now we just keep using the same misunderstandings to sort of keep rationalizing and fabricating some understanding about why things are the way they are. We have no clue, in a lot of ways. So, and a lot of people, that's not okay to have no clue. The head demands knowledge, when in Zen, the highest form of mind is I don't know. Yeah. The lack of knowledge allows a lot of downloading of knowledge. Having a lot of knowledge, like, to me, stuffs up the pipes, really.
Yeah.
So, this is all about seeing the activities that have us, and I hate to use the words, but it's the language. It's a subjective language used by an object. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So it doesn't lend itself to clear pointing, really. but hopefully something gets carried by the words. That's the message. Yes. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
No, I feel for me, it is totally true what you're saying, for sure. There's no doubt about it in my mind. And I can feel like some of those triggers, whatever, are getting less. They're hanging on for less time even. I know that for sure. I can see it. Yeah. So thank you, Paul. It's wonderful.
Yeah, great. Yeah, that's a good indication when shit that used to have a longer shelf life expires quicker. Yes.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. It should be after 70 years, you think it would be.
Well, yeah. Well, you would think a lot of things.
Yeah.
But hey, we're working with what we got. So
Yeah, for sure. Thank
all right,
you.
thanks. Good. Anyone else there?
We have Anish.
Oh, all
Paul.
right. Anish, how are you?
May I ask another question, please?
Yes, yeah, sure.
I feel like I'm following you around like you're.
Want to ask a question to? Anu. All right. Yeah. Go ahead.
So for the longest time, I was looking at like the small self and the capital self, right? Just following terminologies out there in the teachings.
Yeah.
I understand the small self doesn't exist. I understand. I mean, it's a made up, in your words, mental
construct. Yeah.
Mental construct. But now I'm beginning to understand, and that's my question really, that the capital S is also not really an actor, a subject, so to speak, right? It's just another construct I'm making up, like a higher power or God or whatever name I might give it. It's just experiencing that is happening, right?
Yes, but you're not making it up either. It's being made up, but there's no Anish that's doing it. Yeah.
So there's really no one that's doing anything, right?
Anish isn't doing it, so you can bypass spiritual guilt and shame. Yeah. Who would want to feel like they're writing the story of separation from all that is good and great? I mean, seriously. I'd rather avoid that if I believe it, which is the head's little act, yeah? So, but you're not doing that. That's just the head. It's like a two-step move. There's a sense of self, pretty much not being known as anything, yes, just Paul. Then let's say there's enough troubles that warrant a little bit of investigation, and then you finally get an idea of an objectified self, and you say, that's the culprit. That's what's causing these defects of character, causing me not to be able to receive or give love, and so, right? But that which is claiming to be noticing the objectified self is just a form of selfing on the subjective side. That's all. So it's two. So it's like we call it, or actually Ramana Maharshi used to speak of it as the thief and the policeman. Yes. So the self finally gets caught as the thief, and then it appears as the policeman that's going to arrest the thief. So yeah. So, and we talk here because people have had this experience. You see a period of time, quote unquote, being the policeman, you see the value of trying to be the thief. There was a lot of relief from the need to be perfect and I should be completely realized by now and all this shit that comes with being the policeman. It sort of sucks. So a lot of people bounce off of that and go back to the thief seemingly. And at least they can have a nice glass of wine or whatever, watch some show and not feel like they should be meditating every spare moment of their day. So they finally get a little permission to be okay. So one's is just as bad as the other, so to speak. Yes. So thank God we're neither. what's allowing the policeman to arise is just a seeing of an activity called selfing. We just don't have the understanding of what happens when there's seeing of something, that something arises and claims to be the seer. So as it's been known, as it right at the moment it's being noticed as a scene, it's claiming to be the seer of it. Yeah, so all right. Now you have an understanding that for most people, they hear it and then it performs like a forensic unit job. Yeah, shit hits the fan or whatever, but then they notice it maybe a couple hours later, a couple weeks. But then you start getting, before you moved into the house, you see it from the blueprint room. And then there's no house and you had no mortgage. You don't have to stay for the rest of the month. It's just, you never were living in the house. Yeah. So, yeah. So it just, the understanding speeds up in time, so to speak. Yeah. Yeah.
So there's no real seer at all at any level, right?
What?
There is no real seer at any level, right? Not even at the lower level, the higher level. There is no real seer at all, right? No real subject, so to speak, right?
Well, here in this dreaming, which obviously nothing is real in dreaming, but in dreaming, things seem to be real or feel real. And there is a basis or a reaction to the dreaming called fear that can have great value. Yeah. What happens, though, it can also be very debilitating. Yeah. So the fear can warn you, hey, oh, yeah, that drink looks good, but you're an alcoholic. Yeah. And what's going to happen if I drink is not going to be pretty. So now that fear has served you in a way. Then the fear of being afraid you're going to be rejected by this woman, well, that's not a fear, it's an anxiety, is not serving you because you don't ask anyone out at all and you're feeling very deprived and unhappy. So again, everything is really inherently empty and really just plays back the meaning that's given through us to it. Yeah. Yeah. So the real meaning of the world is based on our condition, not the world's condition, in a way. Yeah. As an experience and stuff. So, yeah, so I don't feel most people are being driven by fear. They're driven by mental anxiety. It's made up. There's no apparent threat. Yeah. And so for it to be made up, there's got to be a realm called what's not happening. Because if you're not really screwed right now, to have the feeling of being screwed, you got to believe that you're going to be screwed later. Yeah. Or you were screwed before. Yeah. So it's using the power of mind in a very myopic way to sort of paralyze us in a way by anxiety. So I can't move on July 18th because I'm completely anxious about what's going to happen August 12th. Jesus Christ, that's insane. Yeah. What answer could you give a person like that? Hey, it's not happening. Yes. I mean, obviously, if you try to soothe her from August 15th on July 12th, you're giving more meaning to August 15th, Don't you see? It's a tricky little. So compassion doesn't always look nice, Sometimes compassion is to let people have their bottom, so to speak. Yeah, because a lot of value, the bottom has a huge amount of volume if you survive it. Yeah, if you can, when you start moving away from it, there's a lot of value in a bottom or a failed system, which is it tells you it's failed, so you don't keep going to that well expecting water. Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. Just you'll find out, Anish. Yeah, you will. Just don't, this isn't a dash. It's not even a marathon, but it's a disarming message, not a new call to arms. This isn't like getting more sophisticated weaponry. Yeah, it's not like that. It's just chill out. Hey, I can't escape an imaginary place. I can't. I can't. I can't transcend an imaginary place. I can't get out of me as me. I can't be there to experience my own absence. It's just not available. So these things on one level can be very rude to you, but it's really a hallelujah, so that you stop relying on what's unreliable. Yeah. And you open up and see, you can live there's different ways to travel here. I like this, call this one way of traveling lighter. Yeah. Yeah. I think it has the least amount of effort and there's really no demand. Yeah. So, yeah. Nice to see you, my friend. Yep.
Thank you again.
Yes.
Paul, Angie has her hand up.
Who?
Angie.
Oh, Angie. How are you, Angie?
Hi, Paul. I'm good. How are you?
Good. Good.
So you were talking about meaning that we give to everything. And this, my question is related to this.
Let's
I
hold
mean,
on 1 second, honey. Really, let's say it with a different language. Manage that is meaning that is given. Not we are giving meaning, meanings that are given. That's our role. We giving meanings is not. Yeah. There's meaning being given to things every time I meet anything. Is it we doing it? No, we're not doing that.
I see.
Yeah, that's another meaning that's given to the meaning giving, is that I'm doing it. Yeah.
Yes, because my question was just that, like sometimes we see patterns happening, all around us in nature, maybe in our lives, when you do good, more good comes back to you, all kinds of synchronicities like that, and I'm wondering whether I give those the meaning they have because of my preconditioning, I don't know, education, what I heard, what the society taught me that is true, or what are those things that I see, like that really have meaning. It's easy to say things have no meaning when you don't understand them, but when you're kind of conditioned to understand them, then it's more difficult to say, oh, they have no meaning. Do you see where I'm getting at? So
Somewhat I do, but
so what
I
are
have
these
to.
things, like, in life, for instance, as I said, you maybe donate money and then somehow you get a salary raise, or comes back to you some other way.
Yes.
I feel like it always comes back,
Yeah.
or in nature you see repeating cycles, and so what are these things? They seem to have meaning somehow.
Oh yeah. Well, I feel, yeah, that's sort of like an upgrade in in the meaning level, so to speak. Yeah. The programming gets an upgrade. It doesn't produce the upgrade, but somehow it gets an upgrade. So it
So it's
sees.
just part of the dreaming, the fact that the dream is happening this way.
Yeah, I didn't hear that whole thing. So what did you say
So
right before the dream
is it just part of the dreaming, the fact that the dreaming is happening in this way and not other way? So it's just as it is, basically.
Yeah, but in a way, the Course in Miracles, I like its saying, which is, you and I are the dreaming of the dream, and we're going to dream ourselves out of it. Yeah. And as we do, the dream gets happier. So to me, part of the dream getting happier, when I see something, I have gratitude for it. Yeah. Where
Yeah,
before, when I saw something, it just triggered, I want more or less of it, one way or the other. But now I can stop and smell the roses all the time.
that's exactly the meaning that I'm talking about. There
Yeah.
seems to be, you know, a certain flow that kind of is a kind of meaningful in a way.
Well, yeah, it's like we're all on the same ride, but the meaning that can be given to the ride can be incredibly different, for sure. And let's just say that if you lean one way, you're more apt to express these other views or recognitions, let's say. Yeah. Like I found when I got into recovery and I started to, whatever, recover, the amount of coincidences I noticed were mind-boggling, incredible, yes, and things would happen over and over again that seemed so highly unlikely that they could happen. It got my attention. It made me go into a state of wonder, which I enjoy, which is very soothing for me, for the action figure. So yeah, I feel a lot of things can affect like a calling to hearing different notes, yeah, of what's being played. Yeah, instead of concentrating on this one stream, you're available to hear other streams. Yeah, I
Yes,
like
that's
that for sure.
exactly the meaning that I'm talking about. You see things happening and you just wonder, how's this even possible? How could this be? You know?
And it's sort of like the idea of being a childlike in a way. So you're more apt to go into wonder and awe, AWE,
Yeah.
than than you were when you were so up the ass of self, so to speak. Yeah. So yes, yeah. I mean, those are all these beautiful little, you know, they're not there to be collected. That's the beauty of it. They're just
Mm,
beautiful one-off paintings that don't need to be reproduced. Yes. Yeah.
yeah.
And you're going
But
to get you're going to see a lot of the same artists, art coming. And you get a
it,
sense of the artist by looking at how things are choreographed or how they go. You find that you see meaning in stuff that you didn't see before. Yeah. Yeah. I like that a lot, really.
exactly. So that's what I was questioning, whether I should see any meaning in these
Oh
instances.
yeah, that's what we do. Yeah. It's not really up to us. There's going to be a meaning. You're not the meaning giver. Meaning is given through us, but we're not the meaning giver. Yeah.
Mm,
It's sort of like, when you're on the same plane, but you're up in first class. Yeah. Yeah. Now, the atmosphere of first class is more comfortable than coach or economy. Yeah. So economy, and you're on the exact same plane, but in economy, I may have really a hard time sleeping, but I go to sleep in first class. But it's the same plane, it's the same ride, but I'm in a different uh, position, so to speak. Yes. So in a way, uh, that's sort of what it's like. Like I've been listening to these chimes all day because it's windy where I live now, and so just dig it. I dig those notes. So, you know what I mean? And they're held really long. I mean, it just reverberates for a long time, each note. So, and I've done 3 talks today. So every person that came to the talk was confronted with the chimes. But yeah. Now, when I was like under the influence of cocaine and alcohol, extremely, I wasn't looking for chimes. Usually, you know what I mean? I wasn't looking for, unless I was growing marijuana, I wasn't looking for pots for plants or shit like that or fertilizer. You know, I didn't even want to go out. I used to love the ocean. Didn't go to the ocean for years because I didn't want to be out in the sun, you know. So it's yeah. You're on the ride. We're all on it. this little, and this is the ride, but it can get a lot lighter, which is nice.
Yes, that's what it feels like. Yes.
Yeah, and it will keep feeling like that, honey. It will. I'm telling you. It's I remember when after talks, the food would be so delicious, eating food. We'd always go out after live talks on Wednesday night and Saturday. Now we don't. We just go for coffee. But eat and the food, it didn't matter what the food was. It wasn't the food was great. It was the taste was, the aliveness of whatever was going through the senses was just, or the senses were more receptive, got it. And, this is what happens. You get HD, you see incredible light and color. Yeah. So why not? I would say that's dreaming yourself out of the dream as the action figure. Obviously, you're not dreaming yourself out of the dream, but the action figure now is playing that role other than, going up the ass of self. It seems to be a easier, softer way to be in the process of dreaming oneself out of the dreaming, or a no self, really, than the other. So, yeah, I'm happy I'm alive to see this aspect. Yeah. If the
It's
book would have
amazing.
been closed at when I was 36 or something, yeah, I'm really happy. I've had the joy of an extended, more chapters of the book. Yeah, yeah. Because the first few chapters, all I wanted to do was escape. Then I finally realized I can't escape from an imaginary place. So I've been here now for years completely. And I would say it's the more appropriate response to than the other one was, trying to escape what I couldn't. So I'm happy I had these years of sobriety and stuff. Yeah, it's cool. Thanks, Angie. Nice to see you.
Thank you. Thank
This
you.
isn't a dry, antiseptic space. You see the beauty of things popping and going on and going off, and yeah. It's interesting to follow people's heads when they're talking and then see they go like a normal way and suddenly they take an extreme left turn. And you wonder, what the fuck, It's interesting to follow and see what neighborhood they drive into. And you're like, wow, that's amazing that this guy survived all these years with that little that third left turn, It's sort of, yeah.
Yeah, Paul, we're glad you survived. So Dave B here now has his hand up.
Oh, be here now.
Yeah,
Where
be
else?
here now.
Nowhere else, I guess. Hey, Paul, how's it going?
Hey. Good.
Paul and Lucas here. So I had a question. It's as this traveling lighter becomes more and more my everyday, it seems like I have a stronger sense of it when I talk about it, or when I talk about it in the right way at the right time. It's almost like a self-pointing.
Yeah.
And I was wondering, does that really relate in recovery of like keeping what we have by giving it away? And is there something to that?
Well, it seems like it. So everything here is seemingly so. So there's no truth in anything. Yeah. So seemingly it's working. So it's working. Yeah. See, and I'm a real believer that if you're willing to give it away, you have it. Yeah. I don't believe you have to have it to give it away. Who's going to tell you that if you have it or not?
I think the sense of it becomes stronger when you're sharing it. I mean, I'm lucky enough. I have a good buddy, recovery buddy, Paul Hedderman, watching buddy, and we can call each other on the phone and strengthen it in each other. Just that feeling.
Yes. Just that's satsang, association with truth. Yeah. Or the Course in Miracles says the best way to learn something is to teach it. Yeah. Let's not say teach it, but share it. You share it, and Yeah.
Yeah, it's got that recovery vibe to it, with keeping it and giving it away. So
Yeah. The point is, first of all, if you've been, I think it's an easy thing to fall into, the idea that something's doing for us what we couldn't do for ourselves. I mean, looking at your own trajectory, obviously, my mother didn't get me sober. I didn't get me sober. The state didn't get me sober. Nothing seemed to be able to get me sober, really, in this event. And yet something struck me sober. Now, I may not have been able to see that, but I have felt its influence greatly, because uh, no one could produce that effect, yet something did. Yeah. But it's not
yeah,
something, but yes. So, I mean, it's so easy to entertain that, because I see it over and over and over and over again in myself and others, how basically something does for us what we can't do for ourselves.
yeah,
Hallelujah.
absolutely.
What would promote that would be just admitting you can't do a lot of shit for yourself. Admit that, you're outmatched here.
Yeah, like
Really.
we were joking today just about the power in powerlessness. Like, who would have thought? Who would have thunk that admitting you were powerless was
Yes.
the power?
Yeah, because it goes contrary to the mental logic. Because the mental logic is insane if you see it from outside of it. It's totally crazy. But when you're in it, it makes sense. But it doesn't, truly. And then when we call things paradox, it's just a system of wrong thinking can't see how things really work. It just doesn't equate, because its formula or doesn't tell the truth. Yeah. It believes an action implies an actor. It's not true. All it implies is an action. Seeing implies a seer. No, it doesn't. Seeing. Yeah. Seeing doesn't do shit. It just sees. It's not being used to imply something that isn't so. The head is using it to imply something that isn't so. Yeah. The head arrives at the seer. You don't. You're the seeing. You never have arrived, nor will you ever be the seer. It's just a story. Yeah. So it's like a glove that is dangled all day, and sometimes you feel like you put your hand in it, and once you put your hand in it, you forget the hand and you take yourself to be the glove. Whoa! But it doesn't seem to last that long. Your hand pulls out. Oh, thank God I'm not the glove. This and that. But so there's a little bit of this little act, but it doesn't change anything. You can feel like you're in it. You can believe you're in it, but you're not in it. That's the hallelujah. So that which you want to rely on says, I know I'm in it yet, but it's not reliable, because that's not true. You're not in it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So when you're recognizing or observing good effects, that's the last moment you need to become the investigator. Just enjoy the shit out of it. This is the problem. People, now that they're sober, they want to go over everything. But when they needed to be highly observant, they weren't. They were out to lunch. Now, when you should be enjoying being out to lunch, you're highly observant. What? Give me a break.
Enjoy the moments of traveling lighter. And
why not?
I appreciate you, Paul. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you guys. And I'm happy you're not driving at this exact moment. Yeah. All right. Thanks.
Okay.
Anyone else, dear? Oh.
Deborah?
Deborah B. How are you, Deborah?
There we go. Doing good. I just wanted to say I really like the chimes.
Oh, you do great.
Yeah, it feels it kind of is calming. It's really nice. It
Cool.
brings a totally different energy for me anyway.
Oh, great.
I
Unfortunately, I don't know when the wind's gonna blow, so I don't want to
just
record it or anything.
stick a little fan by it or something. No,
That's right. Well, I could record it and then play it back, but
yeah.
no.
I used to listen to a woman named Byron Katie. I don't know if you've heard of her or
Yes,
not, but
heard of her, yes.
she really helped me a lot. But this your message gets through faster somehow, because that she could kind of takes things in compartmental kind of, with the relationship and all that. But this is like this is just blankets over any type of subject, because it's the root. It's not just clipping off
Yes, yeah. Well, we're not trying to apply it much. We're just putting it out
right.
and let it apply itself when it will or what. Yeah.
And but one thing that really helped me that she started saying is we put sticky notes on reality all the time.
Oh,
So
yeah.
that selfing is just like it's like an ongoing narrative sort of about stuff, it seems like.
Well,
to me.
yes, for sure. It's
Just narrating and
welcome or unwelcome narrator. Yes, yeah.
like a newscast going on, and oh, here's the latest catastrophe, and then oh, the good news, this is da da da. It's kind of
But see, it's a little
back and
different
forth.
because it's sort of like Howard Cosell, calling a football game, but Howard has an agenda, so it's saying the whole team's getting its ass kicked when they're actually winning. So
Right.
it's
Yeah.
so you're having so much faith in Howard's narration, you're not really recognizing what's actually happening. Yeah. So you have a story that you're totally bummed out and you've been smiling a lot that day. So this is the insanity. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it's really things just start grabbing on, and I like to when you talked about the old man where he just moves his hand down so then the bird can't jump
Yes.
off of it. It's like it's
Yeah.
more like a relaxed way of doing it. It's like, oh, there it is again, but then um the
Yes.
identification is what brings all that in. And like you said, it just makes the story more strong, kind of.
Yeah. See, the thing is when the sparrow's completely different when it can't fly. Yes. So
Right.
yeah. It's much easier to catch a sparrow when it's in your hand than when it's in the air. So this is the head. The head constantly ignites momentum and goes off. Yeah. And then you're seemingly the attention and interest is dragged into the same old, same old. All really rooted in the idea that it's about you. So if you can weaken that you or it's about you, and that's what provokes the loss of interest in it all. And it's the interest that fires it up, really. Yeah.
Right.
So, yeah. So, point is, this is the act of selfing, is the act of being identified as a self. So, if you're relying on the mental systems like a GPS, it's going to drive you, to where it wants to take you. Yeah. And it's going to sort of have you so blind you can't really recognize where you're going or what you're passing. You're just taking its narration as the trip when it isn't. Yeah. So it needs a little bit of a loss of interest and attention. And by seeing it as foreign or as a mental activity, and not something that you're doing, it's just mechanical, there's a possibility you're going to lose interest in it. And then in that, the gaining of what you the real anchor is what you're going to gain interest in. Yeah. Losing interest in that, there's going to be a gaining of interest. And that interest, where you gain it, may be what enriches your day now. Yeah. Or brings up, establishes a satisfaction and contentment with an easily reached level of enough concerning the exorbitant needs that turn into wants in the head. Like, I'm pretty chilled out because I have enough. Yeah. And I can recognize
Right,
enough.
right,
Yeah. Yeah.
right.
So these things, I feel they've happened with me. So I'm feeling, this model ain't much different than the models I'm looking at now. So if this model could could yeah, I don't see why not. And I really, the most stuff has happened by doing nothing, really. That's been my observation. I hit a point where all I did was attend satsang. Yeah. I didn't even read anymore. I didn't do anything. And I just went to satsang, and in those sparks that I received in satsang, manufactured fires that lasted a while, and a momentum was built to the point that there was a lot done by doing nothing, really. So I'm a believer in satsang because of my experience with it, really. Yeah. I remember I was going through a lot of things that people talk about at the talks. I've forgotten it a lot, but I was having a lot of weird things occurring to me. Yeah. That people who I talked to were saying, oh, those are awakenings and stuff like that. And of course, my head was trying to make it really profound and shit, but the events themselves overwhelmed the head, and I didn't destroy the project, so to speak, or totally divert the project. And it got to a point where none of that shit matters, just sort of, I call it dog shit awareness, just, you're just here because you can't be anywhere else. Yeah, this is it. Yeah. And there is nothing but here and now in the dreaming. The longest memory you have can only appear here and now. Yeah. Yeah. The farthest journey that you think you've taken can only be remembered here and now. Nothing has ever broken the here and now in this dreaming. So there you go. But I'm happy to see you.
Well,
I'm happy
thank
that
you.
you're coming. Yeah, I am.
Thank you. It reminds me of an old Indian story about catching an elephant before it goes into the tunnel. And that really helped me too. Is like you get alert, and you just, otherwise, once it gets going, you have to go clear into the tunnel and drag that elephant out backwards,
And
and
they get stuck
it's
in
kind
there.
of like
Yeah,
they get stuck.
yeah.
Yeah,
That is,
I love
it can
all
only
those old
be 11 feet, and
sayings.
it's bigger than an elephant. Yeah, once it's stuck, then who the hell's going to pull it out? Yeah,
Yeah, right.
yeah.
Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. Yeah.
Thank you.
We have Lucas has his hand up.
We have Lucas. Yeah.
Hey Paul, how are you?
Good.
So I was just contemplating an idea in my head that you have on the Zen Bitch Lab website with the ant and the mushroom. So I was trying to I was trying, or the elephant and the rider. Like I was trying to kind of comprehend, like I get the story and everything, but I'm trying to figure out if I'm the ant or the mushroom, or
Well,
I don't.
no, that's really what I don't know how it's presented on the website, but the ant and the mushroom was when I was speaking in recovery, I used the word parasite to represent the mental addiction, yes?
Okay. Yeah.
A parasitical movement. And people say, well, there's no parasite. I say, I know there's no parasite. It's a parasitical movement, yeah?
Yes.
And so a lot of people sent me scientific information about parasites in nature. And one of the first ones was about this species of mushrooms called cordyceps, yeah? And these cordyceps, they're confronted with everything else that appears here, and their main imperative is to reproduce, yeah? That's the drive. And of course, you know, they have like an umbrella with spores, and basically the how it's going to get transferred from there to somewhere else is luck, really. Wind, or animal hits it, or yeah, someone kicks it and the spores go. And that wasn't enough. That wasn't enough confidence in the mushroom. It devised another methodology, which it would land, the spores would target basically an ant. And when it landed in the ant, the spore would burrow into it. Yes.
Mm.
And the spore would talk to the logistical team of the ant, the brain, and tell the ant where the spore would do better to grow into a mushroom. Yeah. Not it, so it override the ant's agenda and replace it with its agenda. And when it was brought to where it wanted to go, it kills the ant. And then it grows out right out of its head, the mushroom. I said, that's fucking amazing. Yeah. Then I started getting all this other stuff about things that were even more amazing, because the species of cordyceps, they land on different species land on different insects, but they use them for the same thing, to give them a better chance of reproducing. They take over the host, use it for transportation, then kill it. Yeah. Yeah. So I didn't see any difference between how my experience of alcoholism was than that description. Something seemed to take over the system called Paul and use it for transportation to do what it wanted to do. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it made complete sense to me. And then I looked into more parasitical things, and they're pretty trippy. There's one called toxo. It's got a long name, and it's in a lot of people's brain, and it can lay dormant for quite a while. But toxo, it has a very challenging situation to reproduce. It can only reproduce in the belly of a cat. Yeah. And it finds itself in like a mouse or a rat or some other mammal. How the fuck am I going to get out of this rat and get into the cat? Well, the toxo takes over the rat head and tells the rat, when you see a cat, run right up to it. So they do. They run right up to the cat saying, here, eat me, basically. The cat kills them. Yeah. The cat goes in there. Then it does its reproduction. Didn't it get shitted out? And then it fucking goes off and toxos more. Yeah. It's amazing. Right? Now, people are so crazy that they think we're immune to anything like this. That I have complete holistic integrity. I'm my own island. No one comes on the island. No one leaves the island without me knowing it. You're just like a station with tons of railroad trains coming in and out all day. Things are taking us over all day. Anger, greed, you know what I mean? Resentments. So love, peace, this shit. So this idea just seemed like the perfect imagery to get the message across that what has defeated us, first of all, isn't us. So you can get off of this whole thing that I did something to me that I would never do to me. Yeah, I'm not a believer in that. Yeah. So now and I found the twist with this, you can't be free as it, and it has you identified as it. Yeah. That's what keeps the host like paralyzed so the parasite can live in it, yeah? Because every time the host tries to get out of the parasite, it does it as the parasite, yeah? So you need to see something, and it doesn't matter if it's true or not, but if this is the only way out of it, it's good to see it that it's other than you. As soon as I saw it as other, the possibility of being free from it became available cleanly, very cleanly. And that's happened, yeah, over the years. So what was stopping all that is I was constantly trying to be free as self, not have relief from self. Yeah, yeah. That was a very cloudy glitch up there, and it got corrected, thank God. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what I was saying, but there you go. That's the parasite idea. So
Thank you, Paul.
that was the ant and the mushroom.
Yeah, powerful example, and it puts it right out there, pretty plain and clear. For me, I was having, because I keep in my mind, I kept flipping back and forth. What am I, the ant, or am I the mushroom, or are they both the same thing, or what is
Exactly.
is any of it
Well,
real?
the ant and the mushroom are the same thing in the mind. Yes. Yes. Yes.
Appreciate you.
The ant,
Paul.
it's like the thief and the policeman. It's the same saying. Yeah. We're neither of them. We're neither the ant nor the mushroom. Yeah. Yes. But we can appear to be the ant, and we can definitely appear to be the mushroom. And usually when we appear to be the mushroom, there ain't no ant to be to be found. Yeah. So yeah.
Hey, Paul, we're out of time.
Oh, are we really?
Yeah, that was a beautiful metaphor, though. Thank you so much for that.
Oh, I love the story of parasites in nature. Just read some of it. They have more all the time. It's mind-boggling. And the thing is, we're the perfect host for a parasite because whatever manifests through us, we'll call it ours. It's the perfect thing a parasite would be looking for. We're like the perfect host because the host is so self-centered, it will blame itself for the parasite's behavior.
Oh, Paul, you are speaking to me today. I so needed this sad song. Thank you so much. If you want to say goodbye real quick.
All right, very quick. Though I have a desire to take my time, but I'll do it very quick. Kathleen, nice to see you. Tommy, we got Stuart. Always a pleasure, Stuart, down under. It looks like you're going down under. I can barely see your head now. Anu. Eileen. Oh, Eileen looks like she's comfortable. Nice to see you, Eileen. Dave B, here now. Grateful Dave. Fantastic. With his friend Luke. Nice to see both of you. Bill Churchman. There he is. Looking very comfortable in his little lazy boy. Ashley, I hope all is well. Yes. Angie, always a pleasure, Angie. Yes, it's a joy, Angie, to enjoy and be grateful for. Some of the visions are gorgeous in a backyard. Seriously, yeah? They're just unbelievable. I got this plant. Oh, I was going to go take longer, but I won't. All right, forget the plant. All right, so we got
just saw a
Lucas.
bird feeding on a bush in my backyard. I watched it today for like 15 minutes.
Yeah, it's great.
Wow.
Yeah. Yes. Deborah, nice to see you again. We got Rhoda. Rhoda is the one who keeps reminding me to show up here. Thank you, Rhoda. Yes. I will say it's unnecessary, but that wouldn't be true. So you might as well keep doing it. Yeah. Dono, there he is. Anish, I'm happy that I met Anish. Yeah. I met him at this, on a Zoom at the Know Thyself conference last week. Thank you. George, he's still in the vow of silence, but he will he will move his hands in some form of something. Yes, that's great. We got Ann B. Nice to see you, Ann. Donate started, sent a question. It sent donate here, sent a question on the chat saying, why aren't people are donating? Yeah, just want to let you know. We got Robert. There he is. I don't see him, but he's here. Another one I can't see. Info something. Oh, Kathleen, the better half of Bill Churchman. Some would say. Yeah. All right. That's a bit all. Thank you so much. I'm happy to be in your presence, all of you. Yes.